In a whirlwind of political and economic turbulence, Elon Musk finds himself at the center of a contentious debate over fiscal responsibility and governmental efficiency. With his unconventional approach to public service, Musk has drawn both admiration and ire as he attempts to reshape the U.S. government's financial landscape. During a recent interview with Fox News' Bret Baier, Musk revealed his ambitious goal of reducing the national deficit by a staggering $1 trillion within 130 days, a timeframe that aligns with the limit imposed on his role as a special government employee. This audacious claim has positioned him as a radical reformer in an administration that thrives on disruption. Musk's initiative, spearheaded through the newly established Department of Government Efficiency DOGE, seeks to tackle rampant government inefficiencies. Critics from various quarters, including mainstream media and political opponents, have characterized Musk's methods as reckless. A column in the New York Times recently proclaimed Elon Musk is corrupting more than just government, while others have echoed sentiments of chaos and instability in his wake. Such criticisms, however, may overlook a crucial point: Musk is not the underlying problem, rather the entrenched inefficiencies and spending habits of politicians have long plagued the American fiscal system. With a net worth exceeding $340 billion, Musk is no stranger to controversy. His alignment with the Trump administration has further complicated his public perception, especially among progressive circles that vehemently oppose his influence. Vandalism against Tesla properties and negative stock reactions are symptomatic of a broader climate of disdain directed at Musk. Yet, as he candidly points out, the objectives of DOGE are straightforward: eliminate waste and fraud while aiming for a 15% reduction in government expenditure. The leadership team of DOGE, which includes experienced figures from various industries, bolsters Musk's claim that his approach is not merely a haphazard disruption but rather a calculated effort to enhance government efficiency. Among them is Joe Gebbia, co-founder of Airbnb, who highlighted the absurdity of federal retirement applications still being processed through outdated paper systems. "We want to create an Apple Store-like experience for government services," Gebbia noted, exemplifying the innovative spirit Musk aims to instill in a traditionally bureaucratic system. However, the path to reform has not been without pitfalls. Despite his ambitious plans, Musk acknowledges mistakes made along the way, stating, "We measure twice, if not thrice, and cut once." This transparency contrasts sharply with the criticisms he faces, suggesting that Musk is attempting to navigate the complexities of governmental reform with the same ingenuity that propelled his private ventures. Yet, as the national debt continues to swell, now exceeding $36.7 trillion, Musk's efforts may be seen as an urgent call to action rather than a mere political stunt. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg recently warned of an impending fiscal reckoning, reinforcing the notion that the accountability of elected officials has become paramount. Elon Musk isn't the problem. He's undoing what never should have been done in the first place, commented Nicole Russell in her opinion piece for USA Today. As Musk's tenure with DOGE approaches its natural conclusion, speculation mounts regarding his future role in politics and business. Reports indicate that he may soon step back from his advisory position, with Trump hinting at a transition to a supporting role. While the White House has disputed these claims, the prospect of Musk's departure raises questions about the continuity of DOGE and its long-term impact on governmental efficiency. With a growing chorus of critics within the Republican Party and waning public support for his radical reforms, Musk's relationship with Trump could soon be put to the test. The intertwining of their political narratives, Musk's disruptive innovation and Trump's promise to drain the swamp, has been compelling yet fraught with contradictions that may ultimately prove unsustainable. As the landscape of U.S. governance evolves, one thing remains clear: Musk's bold initiatives have sparked a national conversation about fiscal responsibility and the role of technology in government. Whether he continues to influence policy from the outside or remains a key player within the political arena, his legacy as a transformative figure in American politics is already taking shape. The future of DOGE. U.S. fiscal policy and Musk's own ventures will undoubtedly unfold in the coming months, marking a pivotal moment in the intersection of technology and governance. In a rapidly changing landscape of government efficiency and technological integration, recent developments surrounding the Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE) are stirring significant debate and scrutiny. Established under President Donald Trump's second term, DOGE was envisioned as a mechanism to streamline federal operations and cut wasteful spending. However, questions about its effectiveness, leadership, and actual savings claims have emerged as the agency faces mounting challenges. One of the most pivotal moments came when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced that the Department of Health and Human Services (HHS) would reinstate 20% of its workforce previously reduced due to alleged errors linked to DOGE's initiatives. This announcement underscores the contentious nature of DOGE's approach, which has been characterized by aggressive cuts to federal programs and personnel. As Kennedy stated, "We must ensure that our health services are not compromised by hasty decisions that jeopardize public welfare." The reinstatement reflects growing concerns about the implications of workforce reductions on essential services. Since its inception, DOGE has operated with a controversial blend of ambition and opacity. ProPublica's investigative reporting has revealed that the department overseen by Musk has cut humanitarian programs and dismissed tens of thousands of federal employees while claiming a staggering $115 billion in savings. However, these figures have been met with skepticism. Many reports highlight inconsistencies and inaccuracies in DOGE's accounting, including inflated savings derived from erroneous contract cancellations. Elon Musk's involvement has further complicated the narrative. While Trump has often touted Musk as the driving force behind DOGE, administration officials have clarified that Musk's role is more advisory than operational, with Amy Gleason serving as the acting administrator. This ambiguity has raised questions about the accountability and governance of an agency with such sweeping authority over federal expenditures. The legal ramifications of DOGE's actions are also significant. ProPublica has noted that the department's leadership structure is mired in ambiguity, leading to judicial scrutiny. Several lawsuits have emerged challenging the legality of DOGE's initiatives and demanding greater transparency and adherence to standard oversight procedures. As Avi Asher Shapiro, a ProPublica reporter, pointed out, the lack of clarity about funding and operational mandates makes it difficult to assess DOGE's impact and legitimacy. In a related development, the Iowa DOGE Task Force has been formed to implement business practices within state agencies, reflecting a growing trend to apply corporate efficiency models to government operations. This task force, initiated by Governor Kim Reynolds, aims to enhance taxpayer investment returns and optimize workforce management. As Chairperson Emily Schmidt remarked, "We need to embrace continuous improvement in our government processes, similar to what we see in the private sector." As the landscape continues to evolve, the future of DOGE remains uncertain. With significant public interest and scrutiny, the agency will likely face increased pressure to validate its claims and demonstrate genuine efficiency gains. Critics argue that the cuts to workforce and services may ultimately lead to greater costs in the long run, particularly in areas like Social Security, where reduced staffing could exacerbate wait times and service delivery. In conclusion, as DOGE navigates its turbulent inception, the implications of its strategies will resonate far beyond its initial goals of efficiency and cost-cutting. The coming months will be critical as stakeholders from various sectors demand accountability, transparency, and a commitment to the integrity of government services. The evolution of DOGE may well set a precedent for the future of federal management and the role of technology in public administration, shaping the discourse around government efficiency for years to come. In a climate of heightened political tension and economic uncertainty, recent federal layoffs have ignited passionate responses across the spectrum. As President Donald Trump continues to streamline government operations, the left has expressed outrage, claiming that the job cuts disproportionately affect dedicated public servants. However, this reaction has sparked a counter-narrative questioning the consistency of such indignation, particularly in light of the broader economic fallout experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic. David Craig. A former Wisconsin state senator and current legal director at the Foundation for Government Accountability articulates this perspective in a recent opinion piece. Craig notes that the current outcry from Democrats and their allies seems selective. Where was the same moral fury 5 years ago, he asks, referring to the millions of Americans who lost their jobs during the pandemic. He argues that the focus on federal workers and the bureaucratic workforce reveals a troubling bias, as these individuals often enjoy higher salaries and better benefits compared to their private sector counterparts. This discrepancy raises questions about the left's commitment to the working class, as they appear more concerned with defending government employees than addressing the needs of the broader labor market. As the political landscape evolves, the implications of these layoffs extend beyond the immediate job losses. The backlash against Trump's actions has also manifested in an unusual way. Some liberal activists have even expressed a desire for successful companies such as Tesla to fail, driven by disdain for the company's CEO Elon Musk. Craig points out that this attitude is paradoxical considering the tens of thousands of jobs that Tesla provides. He challenges the left to reconsider whom they choose to champion, asserting that it should not be limited to federal bureaucrats at the expense of private sector employees. In a related development, Tesla has recently launched its new Model Y Juniper, a move that aims to address consumer demand for more affordable electric vehicles. Priced at $48,990, the new model is positioned as a more budget-friendly option compared to its predecessor, the Launch Edition, which started at $59,990. This shift comes at a crucial time for Tesla as it navigates a string of disappointing headlines and seeks to regain momentum in the electric vehicle market. The Juniper model introduces significant upgrades, including improved suspension, ventilated seating, and enhanced sound insulation, all while maintaining a competitive range of 327 miles. As the automotive industry grapples with supply chain challenges and increasing tariffs, the introduction of this vehicle may serve as a strategic pivot for Tesla. However, leasing options remain less attractive, with monthly payments of $671 for a 36-month term, prompting potential buyers to weigh their options carefully. As the political and economic landscapes continue to evolve, the intersection of federal employment policies and corporate dynamics will remain a focal point of debate. The outcomes of these discussions will significantly impact not only the employees affected by layoffs but also the broader economy and the public's perception of government efficiency. As the nation moves forward, the future of both federal staffing and private sector innovation will likely shape the narrative surrounding employment and economic recovery in the years to come. In a landmark moment for commercial spaceflight, SpaceX successfully completed its first astronaut splashdown off the California coast on April 4, 2025. This historic event marks a significant shift in SpaceX's landing operations, which have predominantly taken place in the Atlantic Ocean or the Gulf of Mexico for more than 6 years. The Dragon capsule, part of the Fram 2 mission, returned home after an adventurous 4-day journey that took the crew into a unique orbit, allowing views of both the North and South Poles. For private astronauts, including mission leader Chun Wang, a prominent investor in blockchain and cryptocurrency, along with filmmaker Janik Mikkelsen, robotics researcher Rabia Rogge, and polar explorer Eric Phillips, concluded their voyage in waters near Oceanside, California. Wang described the mission's launch as a thrilling experience, albeit one punctuated by bouts of space motion sickness that the crew shared candidly via social media. "Space motion sickness hit all of us," he noted. "It felt different from motion sickness in a car or at sea." Fortunately, their discomfort subsided by the second day of the mission. The decision to move splashdown operations to the Pacific Ocean was influenced by past challenges associated with debris landings. SpaceX had faced scrutiny due to its Dragon capsule's trunk, which had previously fallen in unpredictable locations around the globe, including a sheep field in Australia and a hiking trail in North Carolina. This proactive approach to safety underscores the company's commitment to reducing risks associated with space debris. The Pacific Ocean, being the largest body of water, offers a more controlled and safer environment for splashdowns. SpaceX's history of successful missions began with its first astronaut flight in May 2020, which transported NASA astronauts to the International Space Station. Since then, the company has conducted a total of 14 astronaut missions, with the latest FRAM-2 mission being a notable addition to its growing portfolio of private space travel. The shift in landing locations not only promises improved safety and reliability but also enhances the scheduling flexibility for NASA missions, especially considering the often unpredictable weather conditions in Florida. As SpaceX continues to innovate and expand its services, the company's recent achievements are set against the backdrop of a rapidly evolving commercial space industry. In a parallel development, the U.S. Department of Defense announced on April 4, 2025 that it has awarded $13.7 billion in launch service contracts to SpaceX, United Launch Alliance (ULA) and Blue Origin. This strategic investment is aimed at bolstering the Pentagon's access to space for critical military and intelligence missions. The contracts, part of the National Security Space Launch (NSSL) program, are a response to the growing need for reliable and secure space access. SpaceX emerged as the leading contractor, securing a substantial $5.9 billion, while ULA and Blue Origin followed with nearly $5.4 billion and $2.4 billion respectively. The inclusion of Blue Origin marks a pivotal moment in the competitive landscape of U.S. space launch providers, potentially increasing innovation and reducing costs. General Chance Saltzman, Chief of Space Operations for the U.S. Space Force, emphasized the importance of these contracts, stating, "A robust and resilient space launch architecture is the foundation of both our economic prosperity and our national security." With missions anticipated to span from fiscal year 2025 through 2029, the collaboration between these three companies is expected to enhance the U.S.'s strategic capabilities in space as the commercial space sector continues to mature. The implications of these developments extend beyond mere technological advancements. They reflect a broader commitment to safety, security, and the increasing role of private enterprise in shaping the future of space exploration. With SpaceX's recent splashdown and the Pentagon's significant contracts, the stage is set for an exciting era of innovation and collaboration in the cosmos, paving the way for future missions that could redefine humanity's reach into space. In a week marked by tumultuous developments, Elon Musk finds himself amidst a confluence of legal challenges and regulatory scrutiny, particularly from European authorities, as the European Union (EU) gears up to impose potential penalties on Musk's social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter. The implications extend beyond the tech sector, threading through international trade disputes and the political landscape of the United States. European regulators are reportedly preparing to impose a fine on X, potentially exceeding $1 billion as part of their enforcement of the Digital Services Act, a landmark law designed to combat illicit content and disinformation online. According to sources familiar with the situation, these penalties could include both financial sanctions and demands for significant changes to the platform's operations. The investigation into X, which began in 2023, has highlighted concerns regarding the platform's handling of user-generated content, contributing to an environment rife with hate speech and misinformation. A spokesperson for the European Commission stated, "We have always enforced and will continue to enforce our laws fairly and without discrimination toward all companies operating in the EU." Compounding Musk's woes, a U.S. judge recently rejected his attempt to dismiss a lawsuit alleging that he defrauded former Twitter shareholders by delaying the disclosure of his stake in the company. This lawsuit, led by the Oklahoma firefighters' pension and retirement system, claims that Musk's actions resulted in significant losses for shareholders who sold their shares at artificially low prices. Judge Andrew Carter noted that Musk's delayed disclosures and misleading communications could indeed be interpreted as fraudulent intent. As the legal challenges mount, Musk's ties to former President Donald Trump further complicate the narrative. Musk's close affiliation with Trump has raised eyebrows, especially in light of the recent introduction of high tariffs by the administration, which have sparked retaliatory measures from the EU. The interwoven fates of Musk's ventures and Trump's political maneuvers have led to speculation about the potential fallout for both figures. The EU's investigation into X has proceeded independently of these tariffs. But the timing of the regulatory scrutiny could exacerbate transatlantic tensions. Musk's critics suggest that his controversial public persona and political affiliations may be adversely affecting his businesses. Tesla, another of Musk's flagship companies, reported a significant 13% decline in electric vehicle deliveries in early 2025, a trend that analysts attribute to increased competition and a tarnished brand image associated with Musk's polarizing statements and actions. Reports indicate that sales have dropped sharply in key markets including Germany, where his political engagement with far-right movements has reportedly alienated consumers. Moreover, whispers from Trump's inner circle suggest that Musk might soon step back from his role within the administration, potentially refocusing his efforts on his businesses. While the White House has publicly denied these claims, the possibility of Musk's departure looms as he faces increasing pressure from both legal fronts and market realities. This convergence of regulatory scrutiny, legal battles, and political entanglements underscores a pivotal moment for Musk. As he navigates this complicated landscape, the outcomes of these challenges could significantly shape the future of his ventures. With the EU poised to make a definitive move against X this summer, and with Musk's own legal troubles intensifying, the coming months may prove crucial not only for Musk but also for the broader tech industry as it grapples with evolving regulations and public expectations. The interplay of technology, politics, and law continues to unfold, setting the stage for a potentially transformative chapter in Musk's multifaceted career. Elon Musk's Neuralink has recently expanded its search for participants in clinical trials, now accepting applications from individuals around the globe. This marks a significant shift for the company, which previously restricted participation to residents of the United States, Canada, and Great Britain. The latest call for volunteers specifically targets adults with tetraplegia, those who have lost the use of most of their bodies due to spinal cord injuries. Starting April 2, 2025, interested candidates can apply via the official Neuralink website. The company is seeking individuals who are unable to use both arms as it aims to explore the capabilities of its advanced brain-machine interface technology. Neuralink's initial trials focused on patients with paralysis or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis (ALS), but this expansion signals a move toward broader applications of its innovative chip technology. At the heart of Neuralink's operations lies a sophisticated implant that is inserted into the skull. This procedure involves a specialized robot that inserts 64 ultra-thin fibers, each housing 1024 electrodes into the brain areas responsible for motor function. These fibers are remarkably thin, no thicker than 4 micrometers, and the chip itself is roughly the size of a coin. The device allows for the analysis of neural activity, enabling users to control computers or smartphones simply by thinking about movements, eliminating the need for physical interaction. The study involves placing a small, externally invisible implant in the part of the brain responsible for movement. Neuralink's communications detail. This device analyzes a person's neural activity and allows them to control a computer or smartphone just by thinking about movement. This does not require any wires or physical movement. Neuralink's journey into human trials began in January 2024 when it successfully implanted the first chip in a human subject, Nolan Arbo, a 29-year-old who had been completely paralyzed following a traumatic spinal cord injury. This breakthrough demonstrated the potential of the technology, allowing Arbo to control a computer using only his thoughts. As Neuralink aims to enroll more patients for its experiments, the implications of its technology extend far beyond individual rehabilitation. By tapping into the brain's natural signals, Neuralink envisions a future where individuals with disabilities can regain autonomy and interact with technology in ways previously thought impossible. Moreover, as the company seeks to integrate its brain-machine interfaces with artificial intelligence, it raises profound questions about the future of human-computer interaction and the ethical considerations that accompany such advancements. The global search for participants illustrates Neuralink's commitment to advancing its research and highlights the growing interest in neurotechnology. as the landscape of medical technology continues to evolve. The outcomes of these trials could have lasting effects on how we understand and treat neurological conditions. Looking ahead, Neuralink's initiatives may pave the way for a new era in medical technology and artificial intelligence, blending human cognition with machine efficiency. As the trials progress, the world watches closely, eager to see how this pioneering venture unfolds and what it could mean for the future of human capability in health.